Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fourth episode of the developer live stream from RainyGames. My name is Siavash, aka Rainy, and joining me today is Sydney on this side, aka Fem.
Hello.
There we go. We do have your audio. Welcome
Yay.
to this one. This is an exciting one. I've been waiting for this one for a very long time. We are going to be talking about all things social system today, and actually take a super deep dive into it. Like, I've never been able to talk about a system so much. Like, this is a special treat. But hello,
I finally gave
welcome.
him permission.
Yes. As always, let us know if there is any audio issues, because I won't be able to tell. I mean, maybe Sydney will be able to tell, but
Oh yeah, let me check. Hold on.
But yeah, if there's any level problems and stuff, I finally put a gain on my microphone because everybody's always telling me that I'm quiet all the time. So am I still quiet?
Again. Yeah, and I'm loud.
Oh my god!
It's always like that.
It is always like that.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I am. Going
You need to put you up and me down.
Right. That is a difficult thing to do.
We will give Rainy some
IRL.
time. Let him get his life together.
Oh god, that's gonna take way too long.
Tom Holland has been
right.
let loose.
I am on a 9 for my gain. If I end up maxing out the microphone, then it's you guys' fault. But hello, welcome, hi everybody. Yes, Melvin, a little fox drone. That is Sparky. That's the guy from our game. Welcome to the stream. We're actually not going to be talking too much about Sparky today, because it's all about the humans at this time. Yeah, we don't have our whatchamacallit, our chat working by the looks of it. The chat box.
Yeah, it's working. It's you have to be subscribed. It's to block trolls.
No, I mean on the screen. Like this area that we have on the right side is just empty. It's supposed to show you guys' chat on it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, we do have our QA channel running on the Discord server that we have right down here, discord.gg/SunnySide. Official verified server, by the way. Go ahead and put your questions over there. You can, of course, put your questions in chat as well, but we do tend to miss some of those because they're just kind of go through really quick, especially when we're like revealing something or when we're talking about a new system or something like that, and it's something exciting. Your message can easily get buried under other people's excitement.
Yep.
So yeah, you can join Discord and throw your questions over there. It's like a temporary channel that we have. So today we are, as I said, going to talk about the social system, talk about how friendship is going to work in SunnySide, how romance is going to work in SunnySide, dating and all that stuff. Funny enough, when we were showing the opener video, and by the way, the choice of music was Sydney's, that is our sad theme, which makes it look like you're breaking up with Yuma in that cutscene, which, you know what, actually we'll be touching on today. So, not too far from what we will be talking about. And beside that, we are going to deep dive into 2 NPCs and kind of use them to showcase the social system. And those 2 are going to be Kyle and Mayumi. So Kyle and Mayumi fans, rejoice.
I like how excited you are.
Me? Yeah, I am.
You're like,
my energy
here's the
is
stuff
just
we're talking about.
So far away from you.
Still asleep.
Yeah, well, yeah, true, fair enough.
Well, let's get into the RainyGames things first. And my evil grin. Okay, so some RainyGames stuff first, because this is inherently a RainyGames dev stream. That for the next, at least probably the rest of the year, is going to pretty much exclusively be SunnySide stuff. But at some point, we do want to talk about other SunnySide, non-SunnySide stuff.
Yeah, because we don't want to be working on
RainyGames.
another game while we're working on SunnySide, unlike some other Kickstarter games.
My cat, man. Okay, anyway. He's been screaming at me all day. I don't know what he wants.
Well, can't help that. Hello, hi.
So,
Welcome.
yeah. Hello, everybody. If you're new, double welcome. So, if you are new, the way that we like to do these is we'll talk about, like, studio stuff first, and then we will hop into stuff that you guys really want to see, which is SunnySide. So, for some RainyGames stuff, I keep the number one question lately has deviated from like, oh, what's SunnySide about, to when are we releasing? I feel like every time we post anything on Twitter or YouTube, it's when are you guys releasing? When are you guys releasing? And I kind of just wanted to put something out there in terms of we can't tell you. I can't respond to those messages. There's nothing I can say other than we don't have a release date yet for SunnySide, and I finally came up with like a real answer. So I just wanted to put this at the beginning of the live stream, in that it would be really irresponsible of us to announce a release date before we've even finished the game, which is why we're not giving you guys a release date. We're still working on it. So we could say something and then have it, be something else, because video game development is just inherently turbulent, I guess, and unpredictable. So we're working on it. But please, for the love of God, stop commenting that. It's driving me crazy. I can't answer you. I have nothing to say.
I guess the answer is
Discord,
that just wait until we have an announcement, right? About it.
Yeah, we'll announce it. Once we have a release date, it will be everywhere. So to answer Demoni, there is a specific Q&A channel. It's called Stream QA. It's at the very top, right above FAQ and questions, in the SunnySide section. Yep, it's there. Hold on.
Permissions? My assumption is?
No.
Okay.
People are messaging me with questions, but I can't really answer questions by DM when I'm trying to stream. So, yeah, just put them in the stream QA or in here in the chat. Anyway, so that was my little thing. But in terms of RainyGames stuff, I just kind of wanted to talk about Patreon real quick. I'm terrible at Patreon, apparently. When you have two ADHD people trying to balance a billion things, stuff kind of gets dropped. So I have everything. Like, I have everything to send out to the higher tiers, the postcards and stuff. It's literally sitting right next to me. I just have to go to the post office tomorrow. So I'm sorry, guys. I swear I haven't forgotten about anybody. I just am garbage, apparently. So if you're waiting on postcards, they're coming.
You should show them.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is one.
Yeah, so this is going to Kitsune tier, I believe, right? Or Inari, actually?
Kitsune and Inari.
And Inari tiers, yeah. So you guys on Patreon, thank you so much for your support, and you will be getting these in the mail very soon. So keep an eye out.
Yeah. So I'm excited about them. And I'm going to give away a little surprise here. I even filled them out.
Yay! Wait, nice. That's cool. That's cool.
So those will be going out. Also, the third podcast episode is going to be coming soon. We were doing Social System all during June, and we just kind of got buried in it. So we didn't get around to doing a podcast, but we're going to do one this week, I think. So it'll be like end of June, early July, and then we'll try to get the July one up pretty quick afterwards too. So you guys can look forward to that. Another note, if you are a Kickstarter or BackerKit backer for SunnySide, you have access to the Patreon channels and stuff on Discord through the end of the month, which is next week. So that's going to go away. So don't be upset when these channels disappear, I guess. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, which technically should be an announcement at the end of the stream, because I kind of want it to be a surprise. So I'm going to write this in real quick.
All right.
But what I was going to say is, in the last stream, I had told you guys that we were working on getting some merchandise out. And I was waiting to receive some samples of some stickers of Rain, which I think we kind of showed you guys. And I got the samples, and they're garbage. They don't look good. So we're putting a hold on that for now, because I want you guys to have good stickers. So I have some more logistics to figure out and stuff like that, but just kind of wanted to say no stickers yet. Someday, but not now. So yeah, I'm gonna read. There's a bunch of holy crap chat.
Potato, no worries. Just drop your questions in chat, and I'll keep an extra eye for them. Thankfully, it's easy to see your avatar with the little potato. So I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Sidali was asking that people are more curious for a timeline,
which is fair,
absolutely fair,
totally fair.
Yeah, and you know what? As unsure as we are about a release date, like personally in the studio, obviously release date is much more handled by the publisher side of things, right? And they have a bajillion things to consider before they can come up with a release date. Obviously, how many games are coming out during that period of time that they are thinking about, how are they going to like lead up to the launch with marketing plans and stuff, and do they want to do simultaneous releases on maybe a console and a PC, or just PC, or just console? Not sure. We don't know any of that. But one area that like we're sure about is the timeline, because that's what we work off of. And one thing that I can say is that we have a very, very clear, concise, and realistic timeline now. We had a timeline in the past, and it wasn't was a little bit crammed. And you know, I got sick, and the whole thing got out of balance. So this time it's planned in a different way, so that if we do get sick, there is, you know, a room for that. I hurt my foot last week and I couldn't work for like 2-3 days, and it's fine. We're still doing absolutely fine with the timeline. But I think, can we like talk about at least the topics that we're tackling for the next few months?
Kind of. So I was going to address something about, somebody said it's not unreasonable to ask for like a quarter target, which normally I would agree with. However, what I can say is the target we're working at right now is like it's on the edge of 2 quarters. So if I tell you one and then it gets pushed by like 2 weeks, it'll push into the other quarter. And so I can't even really say like, oh, here's like the 3-month window it'll be during, because even we don't even know that. So we're still at a stage where like we're not quite sure. What I can say, and Merge will probably get mad at me for saying this, but what I can say is I think we will have a better idea of what releases will look like probably around the end of like September is when we'll have a good idea of what's going on. That's all I can say. That's probably still too much. So what we're working on right now is, so this month it was what we're doing now is connecting everything. So the way that video game development in general works is you get all your mechanics working and you drop them into the levels, and it's very linear, you know, especially if you're doing like, I don't know, simple kind of reference be like a Mario game. You get your mechanics working, you test everything on level 1, you get it all going, and then you put in the levels afterwards, and you have this kind of linear progression to the end. With what we're doing, because it's kind of open world and there isn't really any linear section to it, we're doing all these different mechanics all at the same time. And then now what we're doing is bringing everything together. So the mechanics are pretty much all in, and we're now at the stage where we're connecting stuff, we're making sure the story flows right, we're testing things, we're adding in content, we're polishing stuff. That's kind of where we're at now. So I'm getting a bunch of messages from a lot of different people the whole time.
No worries. But yeah, in terms of timeline, you guys actually know about some of it. Last month we worked on the battle side of the game pretty thoroughly in the caves and everything like that. We pretty much put a bow on it as best as we can. This month was social. Next month is more social. We're gonna be working on like events and stuff that would happen in game, like Christmas or farmers market or stuff like that. And then pretty much after the next month, then it's going to be mostly us finishing and polishing the systems that have been designed in the past. So we're going to revisit the build mode, see what we need to add there, see what we need to polish, like the path designing and stuff like that works, but like it doesn't have controller support, so we need to go ahead and add that. And the skill tree, for instance, is another thing that, you know, was completely designed. You guys actually played it in alpha, but you know, since we added a bunch of other things, now we need to make changes. So we need to go back to it, see what we need to adjust, what new skills we need to add. So it's all these things. But one interesting thing that has happened is that the more we kind of go through the months that we have, and each month is a milestone, essentially, is what it's called. We have more polished tasks and less implementation tasks. I think last month with battle system, that was the most implementation heavy month that we had, and then with social system it was less than that, and then it just going to be less and less as we continue forward. Yeah, because battle system was an area that I didn't really touch much, but
yeah, I'd say you're right.
No worries.
Are we gonna get to play test the game? I'm pushing for it. It's not only my decision or Rainy's decision, it's also something we have to discuss with the publisher in terms of timeline. So I can't say like, yes, absolutely. But it's something that I am actively striving for on an almost daily basis. So.
Hello.
Anyway.
Music.
Right.
We're done
talk
with business
about some NPCs.
things.
Yeah, no more business things. But keep asking questions, y'all. Yeah. We'll answer them as we can. Again, if we miss your question, drop it in the stream QA on Discord.
So
you can ask questions of both.
I like to give
the what I'm pointing at.
I like to give the obligatory disclaimer about the fact that this build was put together about like an hour ago, because I was working on.
You always say that.
Yeah, I was working on fixing bugs and polishing things as best as I could. I really need to keep that one more thing under control, because, you know, I'm like, okay, this is done. We should make a build now. But I'm like, oh, we need to add this one other thing to it, and it just goes forever. But anyway.
We have a phrase in the culinary world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna curse because I have to, because it's culinary world. But the phrase is, the more you fuck with it, the more it looks like somebody came around and fucked with it.
I thought you were gonna say, the more you fuck with it, the more you find out.
No, but it's like it's a plating phrase when you're putting stuff on a plate. The more you all this nonsense, the more it looks. The worse it gets, really.
Yeah. That's fair.
Gotta be happy.
Gotta just be some point that you can say, I'm happy with this. Yeah, fair enough. So I just reduced the master volume so that we can actually hear everything that goes on, and Sydney, although that wouldn't be very difficult. But this build is fresh out of the oven, so we might have situations where things might not work as well, or we might have to restart the thing. And I have some videos as well, like in case we absolutely need them. But it's best to just do it live and go through it live. So this is the latest version of the game, so we're just going to go through a debug mode game, which is going to put us in the world with some abilities to begin with. We don't have to go through the intro of the game, essentially.
Oh, I see.
What's going on?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all. No, nothing at all.
The problem is I can't even look at the QA channel on Discord because we'll lose you if I change anything on Discord?
Oh, you didn't pop it out?
Oh, you know, that would have been a very good idea.
Next time. I'll keep an eye on it. It's fine.
Yeah, all right. So, you can ignore the message from Akira. That is just my test message that comes through every day. But here we are in SunnySide 0.45.2. The latest version. So, the first thing that we're going to do, actually, is we're actually not even going to initiate any direct social system stuff. We're going to look at some people's houses first. So, I'm just going to follow the main path, and hopefully, you know, I'll find their houses easy enough. Because if I can't, that would be a bit embarrassing on me. And also, you know, I've done my best to make sure that my PC won't die in the middle of this, so it should be fine. I mean, we haven't optimized a lot of the new systems that we put in, because you can't until you're done with it. And yeah, it's unoptimized stuff are not good. Also, you know what? We can randomize the guy. So let's randomize. That's actually fine. Although, you know, Skirt doesn't really go with that, but you know, it's fine.
I
Right.
honestly, I am
only
constantly annoyed that the only like bottoms we have in the game right now are skirts. It irritates
There's
the crap
just
out
way
of me.
too many skirts, yeah.
It's way too many skirts.
This is a little bit too colorful for me, but you know what? It's fine. We'll go with it. And you know, I'm going to make it rain because I can. So, we are going to run to some people's houses. We are going to be going to the clinic, Mayumi's house, as well as Kyle's and his shop and house. So, whatever I come across first, I guess we'll go there. I could have gotten the bike, though. Now that I think about it. But I didn't. So we're just running. You know, Rin, I wish I could do that in real life. Xander's just over there pondering life. Very good. I disabled a lot of their routines, so sometimes they're just like aimlessly just hanging around.
Jackpot says you need to use an umbrella or you're gonna get sick.
That's a very good point. We'll have our umbrella. You know what? For a super smooth experience, I'll use a controller.
Oh, fancy.
Actually, I can walk now. This is where I talk. This is the new exterior for the clinic. I forgot. I was just playing the game. So yeah, this is the new exterior for the clinic. Looking much better. Looking much busier, and actually very good. Shout out to Liz for putting this together. And yeah, it looks great. Some of the signs, again, signs is always like going to have a huge disclaimer on it that like we haven't checked him. We just put him in for white boxing. Right, so yeah, if there is somebody in here that can actually that knows the language, and can read these, and they say like cell phone or like, I don't know, public toilet, then
please ignore our nonsense.
Please ignore it. Yeah. But yeah, we wanted to just show how cool these buildings look. I didn't want to hold a machete. Yeah. What is this area supposed to be back here? Is this like the research area or something?
You have to give me information because I can't see what you're looking at.
Oh yeah, you're like a few seconds behind. You know that extra building, like next to the main building of the clinic?
The one that looks like a lab?
Yeah.
It's a lab.
Okay. Thanks. That's very concise and to the point. Thank you very much. But yeah, this is the new clinic. Although some of this interior has always been like that. Laura, for the love of God, remove this please when you can. Don't know why it still says listen to the coffee in that corner.
Because we like it.
Because we like it. And it is raining
on
the windows.
That's the psych evaluation you do when you first walk in. If you don't comment on the weird sign, it means you're crazy.
That's a very good, that's a good way to put it, actually. And you know, office pizza back here. Ooh, this place got a bit of a upgrade as well. I didn't notice. Nice. I wish it was raining over here. It's so hot. 51 degrees Fahrenheit in SunnySide. What is that in Celsius? Like 20?
Oh, like 20.
20?
Yeah. I was like 50. It's like 51 degrees in the UK? What are you talking about?
Nah, it is in SunnySide apparently.
You want to know what it is here?
Oh god, no. Or like 30 something, 35.
I don't know. I always have to do math. And by math, I mean ask Google. It is 34.
Celsius.
Yes. Yes.
That is something in Fahrenheit.
93.
Okay. This
93
one,
degrees in good old Texas.
this house that I have stumbled upon now is Mayumi's place. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to quickly actually skip time so that it gets late enough for the lights to come on, because the lights look extra nice in this place and we just have to see them. Also, I'm going to add all contacts so I have some friends. Yeah, so let's go in her house.
Are we leaving Easter eggs from development? Somebody asked.
Define Easter eggs. Like,
Are there going to be weird, goofy things hidden on the map?
Oh, definitely, I'm going to say.
There are 3 of us who've been working on the map. I guess 4 if you count Kai.
I don't know where I'm jumping. Yeah.
And I can guarantee that we've all left something weird on the map somewhere. Yeah, the smile and hand rub makes me think yes.
Yes, jackpot, absolutely. Because I will be going mad otherwise.
Yeah, there's in the settings area, there's a spot to choose if you want. It's Fahrenheit, Celsius. There's also if you want metric versus imperial measurements and stuff like that. So
that was Mayumi's clinic and house. While I run towards where Kyle's stuff is, do you want to give us some background on Mayumi?
Sure. The hardest thing with Mayumi is I don't really know exactly how to pronounce her name. I say Mayumi. I say Mayumi, and you say Mayumi.
Yeah.
And I don't really know which one's correct. We need to ask actual Mayumi and see what she says.
We do need to ask actual Mayumi.
We found out recently that there is a producer at our publisher whose name is Mayumi, and she's actually Japanese. So we're gonna have to ask her how to pronounce her name without the English accent. I want to know in the American. Actually, I just want to hear it in Japanese how she pronounces it.
Mm.
But anyway, so about her, she's kind of. I wrote her a little bit more cards to the chest. She doesn't really divulge as much about herself throughout the course of the hanging out with her and stuff. But she is older, I guess you could say. She's not our oldest female, but she's up there. Doctor, obviously. She's got 2 parents who were already kind of older when they had her, so she's, if you know anybody like that, she's one of those kids who is kind of an only child and just kind of had to take care of herself and do things on her own. And so she's very self-assured, self-reliant, but a little awkward in dealing with other people because she just didn't have like a family environment where she could grow up and learn things. So conversations with her are a little... Oh, Kyle looks great. Sorry. He just walked by on screen and I was like, oh wow, he looks awesome. So yeah, I don't really want to say too much about her because like I obviously know more about her than you guys are going to learn through the course of the game. I know all her dark secrets. But I just finished writing her not too long ago, all of her stories and everything. And I don't know, she's kind of a sad character, actually.
Sad character.
Yeah, she's got that undertone of like you just kind of want to give her a hug.
Oh, I feel like that's like most of the characters though.
Yeah, that's true. Some of them are definitely more happy and outgoing than others. But yeah, I like Miami. And you're at Kyle's place now, right?
Yeah,
I like how you ran
Kyle's
past
house.
him on the street just to go into his house.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I'm
I
just
don't care
gonna
about
go check
you.
your place out.
I just want to go creep on your house for a little bit.
So yeah, go ahead. Give us some info about Kyle's place while we run into his shop.
Kyle's a hard one, because even though I wrote everything for him, he's based for those of you who might not know, when we did our Kickstarter, we had 5 slots basically that people could purchase. I say we, like I was part of this. You decided all this nonsense. Rainy had put together 5 my brain just stopped working. 5 like create your own character for the game type things, and Kyle was one of them. So Kyle Sylvester in game is based off of Kyle Sylvester in real life, who purchased one of those tiers, and then he ended up working with us, and now he's like actually a core part of our team. He helps run our Patreon and all that stuff. So yeah, it's kind of writing him was really weird because like I was writing a fictional character based off of a real person and using his backstory, and we let Kyle write the whole backstory for his character and what he was comfortable with. Yeah, there he is. Hey, Kyle. And then in actually writing everything, like making sure we touched on stuff and that he was happy with it. The weirdest part was writing his romances.
Yeah.
Because because I know Kyle's married and has a daughter, and so it's just really awkward. Like, hey, dude, I have to write a romance story for you. What do you want it to be about? But it was actually a lot of fun, and we weren't really sure what to do with his character for a long time. We weren't sure.
I am about to pass out, just so everybody knows.
Oh, okay. We weren't really sure. I say we, me and the writing team.
I'm passing out.
Like, what kind of story to give Kyle? I think I rewrote his story like 4 times, trying to find something that worked and made sense. And I'm really happy with where it ended up. It's really all I can say about it. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say about him.
Yeah.
He's from. If you want to know about Kyle Sylvester in game, ask Kyle Sylvester in real life. No. But the basics of it is he's originally from the Caribbean, had a rough childhood. I should also note that Kyle in game is not necessarily fully reflective of Kyle's real life. I just want to point that out. So don't like draw any conclusions or like message Kyle, be like, oh man, your life was terrible, dude. I'm sorry. No, this is something we put together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave Kyle alone. Leave real Kyle alone. Please go hang out with fake Kyle. But yeah, he had a rough childhood, didn't really fit in anywhere, wasn't really good at making friends. And you feel a lot of that through his story and his romance, actually. So,
Potato?
Is there a penalty for passing out?
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
There is. So usually in the mornings you wake up with full stamina bar and half of your food bar. If you do pass out, you wake up with 20% of stamina, and your food bar will just be half as normal.
Somebody also asked in the Discord.
Yep.
Something that we weren't really going to talk about, but they asked, so now we have to talk about it.
What is it?
Can we remove shoes when walking into a home?
Oh God! All right then. Well, this is your territory. You didn't want to talk about it, but yeah. Should we go to Gabe's house and see what happens?
I don't know. Can you? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just visit Gabriel Reed's residence.
Yeah.
And not
yes,
his shop. It's upstairs.
Those are water puddles after it rained.
Yes.
I think they're all dried up now, though.
They did dry up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sunny day, so it's pretty warm for it to.
We are all about the water and puddles in this game.
So I'm just gonna, you know what, controller again. And we're just gonna walk up the steps. Oh, you don't see it really that well. Well, we're gonna walk down the steps. Yeah. So yeah, I'll leave it to you if you want to explain anything further. But I showed it.
All I will say is that there are some things in a video game that don't really add any mechanical value. But are just fun to make sure you can do.
Yeah.
And because the game takes place in Japan and we wanted as much immersion as possible, this was something that we spent probably way more time on than we probably should have for something that gives you absolutely no mechanical benefit. But there's also, like, it's Japan. You need to be able to take off your shoes when you walk into somebody's home.
Yep.
So the answer is yes. And we weren't going to show it. But yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
So
some other stuff that happens to NPCs and player as well. You guys might have caught in the background when we were walking around town, but they do react to the world a lot more now. Anyway, so we wanted to talk about Kyle and Mayumi so that we can then go into the social system with, you know, a few NPCs to then kind of delve into. So, I have a nice list. We are going to take you guys through this slowly and through a pretty nice path that we have drawn. Just to not confuse you all, because SunnySide has a very unique approach to social system in farming games compared to the conventions of what is expected from a farming game. So we are taking a very different approach, and we want to make sure that you guys understand it well, because I understand it's scary to have to know that there's a game coming out, a game that you guys probably put money towards, and its social system is going to be completely different to what you guys are used to, and that can be scary. But we want to explain it to you guys the best we can, so you guys can draw your own conclusions and think if this is going to work better than what's normal in a farming game. So we are going to be talking about it in a few different categories, and we're going to start with friendship and friendship points. In SunnySide, just like any other game with social system, we need to have an indication of how good of a friend you are with somebody. And, you know, in this regard, we went with your typical number to keep track of how good of a friend you are with somebody. So that is what we call friendship points. There is also something called romance points, which is separate from your friendship points, and they can accumulate in different ways from each other. They accumulate completely differently at the same spots, but the numbers are generated very differently from one another. SunnySide, unlike some other farming games, doesn't have a romance system that happens after friendship. Friendship points and romance points in SunnySide are inherently separated from each other. This means that you can end up dating somebody before you have ended their friendship story events thing, timeline, whatever you want to call it. Let's call it friendship storyline. You can start dating them before that happens. But there might be some characters that are just harder to open up in that regard and might need to be, befriended before you can, you need to become very good friends with them before they open up to you about dates and romance.
The basics of it boils down to most every other farm game you've played, and I always pick on Stardew Valley because it's really the only one I've played. But it's always, you spend time with them, you get their story, you get heart events, right? And once you get to a certain heart point, it drifts over from friendship to romance. It just doesn't work like that for us. And it's not predictable in the way that Stardew Valley, every character has, heart scenes that, once you get to this heart level and this heart level, and, there's no 10 heart scene and 14 heart. None of that. Get it all out of your head. None of it works like that.
We're doing something similar.
It's similar,
but it's a very different implementation, which we talk about in the requirements section.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and the biggest thing that I want to point out before we kind of deep dive into it is the fact that every single character is different. So, kind of expanding more on what Rainy was saying, you might have one character that you can start going out on dates with pretty much as soon as you meet them, and there are others that you will have to be fully friends with before you can date them. There are some that you might get some scenes I don't want to go into this too much, but like the friendship and romance kind of happen at the same time, and then you'll have others where it's all the friendship and then all of the romance. So every character is different in terms of how good of friends you have to be before you can start dating them, how good of friends you have to be before you get certain things, and how deep into the romance you have to be before you get certain events. So with one character, you might get events from the romance at 20% romance, and others you might have to wait for that same scene at 40% romance. So every single character has not only their own sexuality, which we'll talk about later, but their own like romantic dating preferences and how they want the pace of a relationship to happen. And so it's kind of almost, honestly, I want you to like romance everybody. I want people to go through and play the game multiple times and try everybody out. Because I really think that's gonna be the best way to like get the whole game.
But we are going to return to that when we talk about requirements and story events and stuff like that, with even more info. But one other thing is that throw your questions at us, because we have never been this confident in the social system and this informed about it. We have made every decision that we need to make, so the system is fully designed now. And yeah, we are going to also talk about, you know, dating versus making somebody your significant other in the future. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about how you then generate friendship points in SunnySide, because things are so different. So let's get the elephant in the room first. Talking to people every day. Yes, you will generate friendship points by talking to NPCs every day, but it will be minuscule, and there are much better ways to do it. If you still want to track down NPCs and have a chat with them every day, feel free to. Go for it. You are going to generate friendship points with people. Not romance points, just friendship points. But for romance points and friendship points in a bigger scale, we have Hangout system. I wish we could have like live visual effects. Hangout system.
I know, right?
Up in my head, yeah. So, how does the Hangout system work, and what is it? The Hangout system works by, if you have met somebody in the game, then you will have them as a contact in your Friends tab in Squirrel. Squirrel is our instant messaging app in the game that all the residents of SunnySide reside on. Yeah, it
was my idea, and I'm very proud of it.
Yes, well, Squirrel. Yeah, Squirrel. That's good. Because you know, the acorn.
Squirrels collect nuts.
Yes. Our characters are nuts, though, to be fair. So, for instance, as we talked about Kyle and Mayumi, let's actually go and grab Kyle and try to invite him to a hangout and see how that whole thing's going to work.
Come on, so, Kyle, let's go do something.
This is him. There are ways for you to figure out how many friendship points and romance points you have with somebody. It's done a bit more subtly. But
it's not subtle if you point it out.
Oh, well, it's this thing. So we're going to invite him to a hangout. This will start a text message with Kyle, and you're not going to have this next option, that's debug stuff, but we are going to then select a venue to invite him to. In SunnySide, we will have multiple venues that you can go to. You can obviously, of course, invite people to Higashi as well. I tried to get a hangout in Higashi, but I was told no, because we're doing a big reveal when Higashi's ready for reveal. But anyway, Higashi has some really cool spots that we can go to.
We can't show it until it's done yet.
Fair enough. But, and, you know, we are in debug mode, so every single venue, as we call them, in the map is available to me now. So when I rotate, don't be scared. You're not going to see this many options when you just, like, invite somebody normally.
Oh, yeah.
But we have a lot of options. You can invite people to their own houses. You essentially ask them to that, hey, do you want to hang out in your house? You can invite people to your farm, actually, as well. Only farm 1, though. Because
for reasons.
We have a build mode, and you guys, we don't want you to, like, you know, build a, I don't know, a cow bed in the middle of the cutscene. So we are going to select a place to go to. I am going to choose the Never Fret pub because I also want to just showcase another system that is pretty cool. But yeah, if you click on a venue, you will be able to see the available activities in that place. Obviously, the place is closed, so normally we won't be able to select this place to go to, but we're in debug mode, so we can do whatever we want. But you can see all the activities that are available. Some activities are only romantic, which means they will only show up if you're out on a date. Some activities with the handshake next to them are character specific, which means that this activity is only available when I'm going out with a very specific NPC. For instance, in here, listen to music will only show up when you're going out with Fuyukaze. So again, we're in debug mode so we can see everything. So I'm going to choose Never Fret Pup, which is going to send this Google Map-esque link over to Kyle, and Kyle's going to say, sure, I will see you there. Oh, the HUD problem is still there. Well, that's great. Well, I thought I fixed it, but I guess not. You can still see the HUD behind the cutscene, which is a bit of an issue.
I'm really looking forward to watching Kyle play the game and go on Hangouts with Kyle. I just want to say that.
Yeah, Kyle going out on Hangouts with Kyle. Yeah.
Oh, look at this cute little outfit.
Yeah, that's his spring outfit. And
love it.
He has multiple. So, you arrive at a location, and a hangout will work by you selecting a location, and then you selecting an activity. This time, let's go and play in the arcade. So, some activities have more interaction than other activities. In this case, we can play in the arcade, so I can actually play the claw machine if I'm hopefully good enough at it. I wasn't. So
You weren't.
we're not gonna win anything. But after the little mini game ends, then we will run into something else called story events. So now we're going to be talking about the big meat of the social system. Essentially, this is what is replacing hot events, if you want to talk Stardew. Story events are events with extra dialogue, extra bit of information that can happen in the middle of a hangout. Now, what's important about these is that this specific dialogue that I'm having with Kyle right now, which I'm not going to talk over, I just want to show you guys and then I'll go through it, because I'm sure you guys want to read it. This specific dialogue that I'm going through with Kyle could have happened anywhere else, doing anything else. I could have taken Kyle to the cinema in Higashi and watched a movie, and then he can have this dialogue after that. I could have taken him to do some fishing, and then he could have had this dialogue after that. So we hope that this would make each player's experience super unique to them, because you guys choose where to go, you guys choose what's going to happen, and the dialogue is going to happen in the middle of that. We have, in terms of story events, some story events that are predefined. They are a bit more custom. They have a little bit more things happening in them. Maybe there are more people in that cutscene. So those are predefined. And there is like one or two per character.
Activity locked.
Activity locked. Okay.
That's what I call them.
Activity locked story events,
Yep.
yeah. We have a few
I'm going to answer a couple questions real quick.
per character as well. Yeah, go through it.
So, I'm just going to say it out loud. They are not Squishmallows, because I don't want to get sued. We are calling them plushie chans. So that's what they're called. Is it possible for a character to say no to visiting a certain location, or will they always say yes? They will say yes or no before they ask you where we're going. So if they can't hang out, they're just going to say no right away. If they can hang out, they're going to say, where are we going? Once you get to that point, they're not going to be like, oh no, I hate that place, let's go somewhere else. You're going to find that out later. So you kind of have to trial and error it. And then when we learn of info about them, their likes, their love languages, etc., is it going to be saved in our contacts somewhere, or do we need to memorize it for each character?
Yeah, the love language and stuff is not saved anywhere. No.
Yeah, you're going to have to remember that. We do have areas in the journal for you to take notes. We don't have it on their contact page, though. Do we think we could make a note area on their contact page?
I think we can do that, yeah.
We could do that. Yeah, we could probably do that.
Take custom notes.
Take their own notes.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can keep track of stuff on your own and decide what you want to keep track of. Me personally, I don't like having that stuff in game. I want to figure it out. I want to have to remember that. It makes the relationship feel more personal to me. But some people do like it. So I think giving you something open-ended where you can write your own notes is probably going to be the best way.
And Rachel, I am the guy that opens wikis all the time for games. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. And we already have a wiki team that has been doing stuff for the alpha. So yeah. So I'm just going to go through Kyle's dialogues while we read some more chat stuff, but we won't actually talk, so you guys can read it. I don't know if real Kyle has read his dialogue.
He's read some of them, but not all of them. Is this his first one?
Yeah. So, right, hold on. Yeah, so I need to talk about some stuff before we can actually talk about the romance languages. So that was the story event. That was Carl's first story event that you would go through. And story events have requirements. Sydney quickly touched on this earlier. But the way the game knows if a story event should happen is a little bit more involved in SunnySide. Essentially, again, if we want to mirror Stardew for a good reference, in Stardew we have heart events, which are directly connected to your heart level. In SunnySide, a story event is connected to your friendship points, your romance points, previous story events that you have completed, as well as if it's only can be initiated by the NPC or if it can only be initiated by the player.
Also,
all of that means... Yep.
Wait, also scenes that you might have gotten from other NPCs.
Yes, that's what I was gonna get into. It's not... You can definitely play it linearly, but it's not linear, like, by definition. Most of the hangout scenes obviously need the one before it, but sometimes for some NPCs you need to have seen a very specific event from another NPC for the other one to fire up.
Let me talk about the chapter system real quick.
Yep, go through it.
Yeah, so the way that I wrote everything is the game is sectioned. The hangout story events that you get from going out on hangouts are sectioned off into chapters. They're not necessarily like linear chapters. So even though they're labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you don't have to do 1 before you can do 2. It's more that that's how they're grouped together. So there are some characters that are all kind of inherently grouped together, and you have to kind of do all of their stories at the same time. So a good example, which we've talked about already in the past, and I think we've talked about this before, is Hiro and Kazuki. Their stories are inherently linked together. So if you want to progress through the stories for Hiro, you have to also go hang out with Kazuki and progress through his stories. Now, it doesn't mean you can't generate friendship points. You can absolutely keep generating friendship points, but there are scenes in Hiro's story that are going to be reliant on you having seen specific scenes in Kazuki's story. So you have to do them at the same time if you want to get the whole picture of what's going on. And so there are 5 of those kind of groups of like, you have to do these 4 together or these 3 together, so on and so on. So anyway, continue.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter that you have to do it one after another. It just means that you have to do them together.
Together at the same time. Yeah.
Because they're just right. And now we're going to talk about how do you get FP. So actually, I skipped through that, unfortunately. We're going to go through it again. We're going to go on a few more hangouts. But Kyle, essentially, at the end of this activity, gave me a response about how he felt about that activity. So NPCs have preferences towards activities. Kind of, again, if you want traditional farming game terms, you can treat this like item, gift preferences. You know, love, like, neutral, and hate. It's the same thing, but the NPCs essentially have preferences towards their activity. So the activity that we just did was bar playing arcade, and Kyle's preference towards that at the moment is neutral. You are going to generate X1 times 1 friendship points for neutral, times 2 for like, times 3 for love, and times -1 for hate. So if you take an NPC on an activity that just absolutely hate, they are going to express that at the end of the activity, and you are going to lose some friendship points with them. In addition to that, you are also going to generate a small amount of romance points passively. However, that is going to be multiplied by the gender slider that we have. We're going to talk about that in a little bit longer, like a few minutes, because I have to go through the love languages first. Now, once you're done with that, then you have a few ways to end the hangout. You can just say goodbye outright, which is just going to just end the hangout at that point. But you have 3 other options that you can do at this point. You can either give them a gift, you can say something nice, or you can ask if they need anything. So these are some of the options from the love language system that we have. Essentially, it's gift giving, words of affirmation, and acts of service. And that's what these 3 options are. Each NPC has, again, preferences towards each one of these. So some people might really like being complimented, and some people might find it awkward. Some people might really like gifts. Some people might not find them that interesting. So if we try to give a gift to Kyle, I actually don't have any items in my inventory, so we can't even do that. So we're going to have to cancel. If we ask if Kyle needs anything, then the system is essentially going to generate a quest for us. From the list of Kyle's favorite items. I don't have this one hooked up, so we can't click on it, unfortunately. But we can just say something nice to him. And yeah, Kyle liked that. So that means that his preference towards complimenting him or words of affirmation is positive. So you can always choose that option for Kyle, or you can try the gift option too. Gift option is a little bit more involved, which is going to have item preferences. What's up?
We haven't fully balanced that yet, so I don't remember if that actually is his preference.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
Just in case that changes.
Right. Okay.
We haven't balanced everything yet. I haven't put in all of the like activity preferences, all that stuff. So maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So through love languages, that is the main area that you would generate romance points, as well as the passive romance points that would happen. Now, you might be wondering how you are going to be delivering these items to the NPCs. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but we are going to give it a try. This is a super new system that we... it was something that we always wanted to do, but we weren't sure how. But this system just made a lot of sense. So essentially, what I'm talking about, so you guys have some context, we wanted a way for you to deliver the stuff that the NPCs asked about through "Do you need anything?" option to the NPCs, but we didn't want it to always be just going and handing it to them. We're still thinking about adding that as an option too, but you know, they could be asking for multiple items, they could be asking for, you know, a big number of items. So,
but also the map is really big, and we're not giving you dots on the map to show where people are, because it's creepy and we don't want to do it. So we had to be like, okay, how are you going to give them things if you can't just like go chase them down on the map? So we went with a different thing, and it looks like your
post office is
shops.
Closed.
I don't think the post office is closed. I think your shops just are long, because it should be open.
So you think it's just disconnected? Okay.
I think it's disconnected.
We'll you know what we'll do? I have something reserved actually
cheat
for this.
It. Oh, did you make a video?
I did. I think I did.
Let's hope Rainy made a video. What are those creepy posters on the wall?
Okay, I didn't make a video, but
okay, we'll talk about it. So, I'll talk about it. Oh, you have a thingy. Do you want me to talk about it anyway?
Do you want me to talk about it, and then you can add to it if I miss anything?
Sure.
Okay. So, we wanted the post office to have a use. So essentially, the way you deliver items to NPCs is by going to the post office and composing a letter, as well as attaching an item to it, kind of Animal Crossing-esque, to do that. So you go to the post office, and then you can... Oh, we lost you. Hold on. There we go. And then you can write a letter to that NPC, You can change the background of it. You can change the style of the text. And then you will also, and this was Sydney's idea, you can add on to it when you sign the letter. You can sign it with love, hatred, or just, what was the other one? Kindness?
I don't know. Kindness, I think.
Yeah. To essentially set the tone for the letter. You can write whatever you want. We don't have any system that checks what you write, so I guess feel free to custom if you want. But
you can cuss at them and then say with love, and you'll still get with love points.
Yeah. Essentially,
I'm not going to question what weird relationships you have with our NPCs.
No. To bring a new meaning to love-hate relationship, huh?
Right.
So you go to the post office, you interact with the detail, and then you will choose who you want to send the letter to. You will write the letter, you compose it, you change your style, change the background. They can be selected independently, so you can have this background with like this style if you want to, or you can have this style with this background. And then once you're done with that, you attach the item to it, and then you send them the letter. And that's how that works. So, what did I miss?
What?
Did I miss anything?
No.
Did you want to add anything?
I think that was pretty much it. You don't have to, I think the only thing is these don't have to just be in response to getting a quest to bring them an item. You can do this anytime.
You can do this anytime. Yeah. I don't want this day to end because I got the perfect situation working for me at the moment. So I'm gonna just pause the game by opening the phone. Which, by the way, you can pause the time by opening the phone. I got some text messages from some NPCs that I want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about them.
Let's talk about, I talked about that, passive option. Okay, so yeah, we have 24 romanceable characters in the game. Some characters, actually, this is very important, this is not even on the sheet, which should have been. Some characters are not romanceable, but they still have friendship events and story events and stuff like that. Like, Sako is not romanceable, but she has a whole like storyline that you can go through, and her story is actually requirements for some other NPCs. So
Kazuki too, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, they don't have to be romanceable to have hard events in SunnySide.
Yeah. That hard event. I hate that phrase.
Yeah. So, do you want to quickly look at the chat, see if we have any questions before we talk about how the gem system works? I've kind of been looking at
it. It's mostly just commentary. Yeah. So yeah, and I answered most of them. Somebody asked if you can text them for their location, which is something that we've been wanting to do. We haven't implemented it yet. Yeah. But it's definitely like if we have time, that is how we want you to be able to like find people. Is it safe to say you guys are using old school visual novel dating sim style?
Let me be very clear. What do you call it?
Let me be very clear. I have never played a visual novel dating sim. I've actually never even played a visual novel. So, if there are any mechanics that we're using, it is purely coincidental, and it just means that we came to the same general conclusions for those other games.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear about that. If it looks like we're doing something another game did, it is purely by happenstance because I've never ever played one of those games. I want to.
I was gonna say the same thing, actually. Yeah, same with me. I haven't played any visual novel either. Not even the newer ones, like the horror one.
We're going more off of Persona.
Yeah.
And how Persona works, but there's also, and I've said this kind of since the beginning, the way that I've written everything, and you can ask our writers this because I made it homework for everybody. The main inspiration for how I've written all the stories is an anime called Fruits Basket. Not to say that I'm like stealing the stories or anything like that, but the kind of depth of the story and the undertones and the emotion is really what I've been going for. So that's kind of why I want everything to be more personal. We wanted those personal connections is because that's really how that story works. If you have seen Fruits Basket, it's one girl making friends with 13 different people and changing their lives. It's literally a video game. So that's kind of where I took a lot of inspiration from.
I think general rule of thumb is that it's inevitable that there is going to be a lot of overlap between us and like God, I forgot the word again. Visual novels, because that's inherently like what the genre of the game really is. So it's just going to be natural to find those. Yeah. But honestly, that's a huge compliment, because if it's coming across like that, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, if it is coming across that way, it means we are smarter than we thought we were.
Right, so we are going to now talk about the most questioned system in the game and give you guys as concise and clear of an answer as we possibly can, and that is the gender system. So first, how do you just select your gender in the game? Obviously, we don't have a toggle option or a drop down option. It's a slider, which is definitely unique to SunnySide. So if I open up the photo I took earlier of Squirrel, this is where you set it up. This is where you put your gender identity. As you guys might have noticed, it's again, like I said, it's a slider. It goes from 10 to 10, and then there's 0 in the middle. And then this red area is your selection. It's essentially a 5-point kind of bracket. I think that's the best way to put it. And then you can draw that bracket anywhere you want on that little slider that we have. So if you put it all the way to the left, you identify as a female, I guess, full female, and then to the right it'll be full male, and then towards the middle it will be more towards neutral, so like more like androgynous, I guess.
That's kind of the space for gender neutral, gender fluid, agendered. Yeah. I know they're not all the same thing, but in it's really hard to take a system that it fundamentally is not binary and make it binary this way, which is why we did our best. So that middle section is like it's nothing really, and then you can go one way or the other. But to be clear, it doesn't really matter what you want to call it, because what the NPCs read is just where you are, which we're going to get into later. So if you are 0 and you go slightly left, whatever your definition of what that is completely up to you. The only thing that really matters is where the preferences lie for the NPCs. If you want to call that something, go for it. We didn't really put any labels on anything. And we do have like descriptors to give you kind of an idea of what we're thinking, but that doesn't necessarily have to be what you want it to be. So it's really up to you to use. And it's not as strict, I think, as a lot of people are expecting it to be.
Yeah.
So if you're somewhere in that central area, you're going to have so many more romance options than if you swing all the way to one side or the other. If you swing all the way left or all the way right, that's actually what's going to narrow out your options a little bit. But the more to the middle you are, the more opportunities you're going to have. We shared that graph at one point.
We did, yeah. It's actually on the game updates. If you could put it up if you want.
Oh yeah, let me see if I can find it.
We put it up for you guys, nameless. So again, if we then so that's how that works, essentially, the slider, and then we have the bracket, and then this gets essentially compared directly to another graph that looks the exact same, but it has NPC's preferences towards that gender identity. So essentially, if an NPC is a male and you are also a male, but they are gay, then they are going to have preferences in that area. Again, it's a very label-less system. Yeah. But that's how I would explain it, essentially. If you could get that graph to me, then it'd be easier to explain it.
Essentially, like, we've said that sexualities are locked, but only in that nobody really has any like defined sexuality. So we don't really have gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, asexual. Like, we don't really have any of those. They're not defined anywhere. They're not described anywhere. It's not like, I mean, we've talked about Parsa. Parsa is we call him a gay character, but that's because he's a character that presents as male, and he's mostly into other people that present as male. But there's nowhere in the system anywhere that says, oh yeah, Parse is gay. So it's not even really stated in the story. It's just kind of really open-ended. Sorry, I'm also looking for something. But it was enough so that we could tell the stories that we wanted to tell without preventing the player from also telling the stories that they wanted to tell. I think that's the best way I can describe it.
And I'm gonna actually, while you look for that, I'm gonna shoot off of this. A lot of people ask, what is the player's sexuality then? What is going to be the player's preference? Because you do define your identity, but you never define your preference. Well, you define your preference by how you play. If you identify as male and then you go after the male characters, that's how you choose what you want to do. Or you go after the female characters and vice versa. But essentially, this system, what was the goal, was to try to take definitions as much as possible out of it and just make it a nice slider, like as fluid as possible. And just take the gender definitions out of it and just still give people preferences and identities, but without those labels, I suppose.
I can't find it, so I'm just gonna make a new one.
yeah, that might be easier.
Give me 2 shakes, guys. I'm gonna give your.
I might have it easier on hand actually because
I got it.
You got it?
I already got it. Yep. I always have this stuff all.
All right. Well, drop it in the chat, in our chat, and I'll put it on the screen.
Hold on. Tabs are hidden. Okay, so
make sure the names are hidden.
Cut out all the people. Some of these might still change a little bit, so it's not set in stone. I still have some balancing to do. But yeah.
Oh, am I shaking? Sorry.
Oh, it might be me shaking.
We all shaking.
We're all shaking.
Oh, thank you. Beautiful.
Yep.
All right. Yep. This you guys. Yeah. All right. Now, so if you now see this, and essentially put it against that photo that we had, where did I put it? You can see that essentially the bracket that you are on, what that bracket will overlap with, is what the multiplier going to be. For instance, if you are, let's say, and you can see my cursor, so that should be easy. If you are over here and you want to romance this character, you have no chance, because this is just going to, whatever romance points you're going to generate is going to get multiplied by 0. So it's just going to be nothing ever. But let's say if you're over here, what we will do is that we will look at the overlap, we will grab the biggest number in that range, and that will become your multiplier. So if you're over here and you want to romance this character, all of your romance points are going to get multiplied by 3. So you're going to have a very easy time romancing this character. What's interesting, and I'm really proud of this, is that a natural product of this design is that if we then give some characters just 1s across the board, that means that they are never going to have multiply 2, multiply 3s, which means that their romances are just going to take longer, which we can absolutely use to make characters that are just harder to open up, because naturally they are just not that interested in dating. So you have to really become someone special for them to make it work. But if you're somewhere that you have multiplies of 3 or 2, then hell yeah. Can you put this in the game updates? Just sneak peeks or something like that. Sure. I know we shared it already but now that people know more about it.
Like I said, it's going to change because now that everything's actually been implemented, I need to make some adjustments to make sure that preferences get defined appropriately. But what you can see is that there's definitely more stuff in that central area than there are on the outsides. So yeah. Hopefully
you will overlap more, you will have a lot more options. Yeah, you will pretty much, except for this character and this character, which I don't know who they are, you're going to cover everybody if you're in the middle.
Yeah, that's why I need to adjust them a little bit, because some of the people who are in the middle need to be taken out of the middle.
Yeah, okay.
I thought it was cumulative, When I put it together, I didn't know it was grab the highest number, so I need to rework it quite a bit. But it's the idea is not going to change. It's going to be pretty much the same thing. So yeah, you can, Kay. So sorry, Kay asks, because you've separated systems, you can friend all NPCs, right? Even when romance is restricted. Yes, you can befriend literally everybody. You can only romance some. So depending on what
you're not going to be restricted on befriending anybody.
Yeah, so depending on what your personal sexuality is and how you identify, the minimum people you'll have to be able to romance is going to be 4, I think, and the maximum is going to be 14. So you're going to have a lot of options no matter what you choose. So I'm reading through the questions.
Yeah, because we're going to be talking about something else after this. It's still going to be romance stuff.
Is there a hard line for people where the player lands on the spectrum? Brendan, could you be more specific? I want to make sure I understand your question before I try to answer it.
There was another message after that.
Me trying to establish where green is. I would feel weird being able to romance someone not into who my character is. Yeah, I agree. I'd feel weird about that too.
Well, if the question is where the player's identity is, then that you set that up yourself.
Yeah, but you set that up without really knowing what people are into. So, yeah. If characters won't romance you depending on your gender identity, that is by definition a defined sexuality. We have. I see what you're saying. When I say we haven't defined sexualities, I mean with words. So, for instance, there are characters on here who present male and are only interested in other characters who choose that side of the gender slider, but we don't really go around calling them gay. We might do it colloquially within the studio to kind of like help us wrap our human brains around it. But inherently, especially if you're in that middle area, you know, it's not like, well, this character is, you know, asexual. This character is aromantic. I might have written their stories that way, but there's never like a moment where a character will go, "Oh, I'm gay." We just don't need it. It's not necessary.
I think a reason for that was to avoid stereotypes, right?
100%. Yep. Yeah, 100%. I didn't want to. I want you guys to fill in the blanks yourself and decide what everything is. And the best we can do is make a system, and you guys get to play within that system and see what works for you. But I'm not going to say, if you are a male player, you have to romance Parsa, or if you're a female player, you can't romance Parsa. I don't care. If you want to slide the gender bar over and make it identify as male and go romance it, go for it.
And just a reminder, this is separated from your body, so your physical 100%. Appearances are completely separate from the gender identity thing. In fact, you set that up once you have already created your character, like visually.
Yeah. So I very much wanted to. I had some concerns myself when creating the system. By say create, Rainy programmed it all. I did all the like pre-production design. My concern was for the female characters who are primarily interested in females. I wanted to protect them as much as possible and keep it away from the possibility of some guy player being like, "Oh, I'll just pretend I'm female and go romance the." And so that was something I struggled with. But what I realized is if you do make your gender slider on the female end, you're not going to be able to romance any of the other people that you want to romance. You're locking your choice into that one thing. So I'm okay with it. It took me a while to be okay with it. But at the end of the day, you guys can play how you want. And it's not up to us to tell you any different. But because there were some stories that we wanted to tell, especially for Parsa, it was necessary to do this whole gender slider thing. So Yeah, I hope I explained that right. And I'm really hoping that when you guys start working through it and playing it and experiencing it, that it's at least satisfying.
Yeah, same. It's definitely something new and unique, and yeah, it's it's of course risky, but we're confident it's going to work. So I hope that it does.
The last thing I'll say on this is that I hope it's obvious to you guys where we stand on the matter, without really like going into it too much. And I will say too that our community is a safe one for everybody. And emphasis on the word safe, not welcoming, but safe. And I say that because we've already had people, look at me already tearing up. See, Rainy, see how freaking easy it is? The tears come no matter what I do. We've already had people hop into our Discord server trying to create problems. And I will be safe and kind to everybody, regardless. But the second you attack anybody in our community, you're done. The second safety becomes an issue, you're out. And so I just want everybody to know that I am like the main moderator on our Discord server, and I will stand up for you guys if I have to. God dang it! So dumb. But that's fun. And I'll tell you, I think some of you know what I'm talking about. And I was literally in line at Disney World with my family when somebody popped into our server trying to start problems. And I had so much fun. You can ask Kevin. I was like, yes, I was ready. I was like, I got you. You're not starting this nonsense. So
it's essentially, I think, the thing is, as soon as you touch on gender subjects,
people are gonna get mad.
People,
no
you're just going to become an easy target.
Yeah.
Even if you're trying to do something good, even if you're trying to make people feel included without discluding anybody, without trying to sound pandering to a specific group, or you will become the target no matter what. So, the thing is, like Sydney said, we want the community to be safe to everyone.
Literally everybody.
Yeah. Not like any specific group or anything, just everybody.
No.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, everybody in our studio, we're all cis straight people. All of us.
Except
so this
for Lauren.
Isn't even except for Lauren, yeah. So this isn't even like, this is our community and we're trying to foster anything specific. If you're a cis straight person, come on in. Like, it's not like we're saying this is a space only for one group. We want it to be for literally everybody. As long as everybody is cooperative and creates a community. The second you threaten the safety of the community, regardless of what side you're on of anything, I will step in. And I will either ask you to stop or I will convince you to leave. So, yeah, I'm just not down for that stuff. Yeah.
We tried our best to make something that feel inclusive to everybody.
Yeah.
And I am kind of proud of myself as a Middle Eastern that moved out of Middle East at the age of 21, that have had no engagement with a lot of the things that you find every day in the UK or in the US. So yeah, good. I hope you guys will like it. We tried our best to make it feel super safe for everybody. Anyway, we are going to be talking about more romance stuff, actually. So we have confessions to talk about. We're going to be breaking up with somebody today. And we're going to talk about confessions and lock-in points and all that stuff. But I'm actually going to go out of order because something exciting happened today. And some of my friends invited me to things. So going back to the Hangout system, we talked about how you can invite somebody on a Hangout, but it's definitely not one way. Throughout a normal day in SunnySide, you can get invites from other NPCs as well. The NPCs need to be available, which means that they need to be outside of the cooldown of just having gone out with you, as well as the fact that nothing serious story-wise is happening to them. So they need to be available. And shout out to Laura to helping me figure this out. Essentially, the system is that in every 6 days, you can get up to 6 or 7 invites from an NPC. So you can have some days that are very busy, you get a bunch of invites from some people, and you can have days that you just don't get any invite from anybody. And yes, story events can happen through these invites. So that brings even more dynamism to how the story event system works, is that maybe I invited somebody and got a story event, but maybe for somebody else, the NPC invited them, and that's how they got the story. So, for instance, we are actually going to chat with Blake, and when an NPC invites you to a hangout, they actually end up choosing the place. So, Blake wants to go to Higashi. So we can't do that. So we're going to have to tell her,
say no.
Sorry, I
Blake.
can't right now, rain check.
We're hanging out with Mayumi
which is
instead.
going to be like, okay, no worries, and it's going to end the conversation for now. Let's check out Mayumi, see where she wants to go. And she wants to go to Hero's Home. So we have we have a system where it disallows NPCs to invite you to somebody else's house that isn't hooked up just yet. So Mayumi just invited me to Hero's house, but that's fine. That sounds fun.
Let's go hang out at Hero's
house. Let's just go to Hero's house. Hey, the HUD worked this time. I think maybe it's just a problem with the bar. Anyway, so yeah, hi, how you doing? Hey, Mayumi. I just wonder what Hero thinks. It's just, what would you like to do? So at Hero's house, let's just watch a movie.
It's so awkward. I love it.
Oh god, her arms are going through that pillow.
I'm gonna borrow your cat for a little bit if you don't mind. Oh yeah, this is one of the ones that we need to adjust the camera angle on.
Yeah. Also, I gotta
this
say,
is an odd place for a checkup.
Kitty Bobo in the house. I know you got a message, fam. That's great.
Oh.
I'm a huge Life is Strange fan, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, then you and I can talk about it later.
We're not doing that.
We'll have to have a discussion.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious now. She is cuddling the cushion.
That's true. That's what we're gonna say. Claire is attempting to make friends in town.
Yep. I like how Sparky's chilling on the couch. So one of the things we still have to do is a final pass on all of the camera angles. These are temporary. Like I said, polishing. So don't judge us.
We're gonna have to unfortunately just say something nice. Thank you. So I have a debug thing, which is going to allow me to see how much friendship points I have with somebody. So let's see how we did with that one. Mayumi. I got 1.5 and 1.25 romance points. My player got some riz. Hell yeah.
Sparky's always the third wheel.
Yeah, Sparky will be unavailable through dates. Now, the funny thing is, because of the code, it's like an Aerith situation. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it's like an Aerith situation where Sparky's still there. He's just hidden. His model is just hidden, so you just can't see him.
I do want to answer Brendan's question. Somebody also kind of asked this in the QA channel. Will Sparky always be around? Sparky will always be on Hangouts, regular friendship Hangouts. That's for story reasons. He has to be there, so you can't leave him at home. However, Sparky will not be on dates. He won't inflict himself into your romance life. But he will be in Hangouts, and there's reasons for it. So, sorry. In terms of like following you around town, are we leaving the option to leave him at home? I don't remember. Did we decide you could like leave him docked?
Yeah, we have decided
charger?
it, but we haven't programmed it. Yep.
But yeah, he won't be in your dates. Don't worry.
So, we're in debug mode, so we don't have any cooldown. So we're just gonna go out with Mayumi again. So what I did is that I just adjusted some friendship points with Mayumi, and I invited her to go to a hangout again. And this is a normal hangout. This is not a date or anything. So we're just gonna go and work out together. Why not? At 4:45 p.m. We're just gonna work out together. And she's gonna have some more story events for us by the looks of it.
Those look so good. Those animations were awesome.
Yeah.
Good job, Ken.
Good job, Ken.
I think. Sparky here.
So, now I have accumulated enough friendship points with Mayumi that I can confess. And I really hope that somebody sees this option and gets really excited one day that they can do it. Now, depending on stuff, 3 things can happen. They can either say yes, happy days. They can either say not yet, or they can just completely say no. Never. So, they will say no never when you have no sexual compatibility with them. So, they have their preference, you have their identity. If there is no overlap at all, then they're just going to say no completely. If you have not reached enough romance points with them yet, then they're just going to say not yet. Now, if you have done all of that, then they will say yes. So, we're just going to try to confess and see what she says. So, very carefully, you get another option. You can ask out or just bail out, but we're gonna continue asking out. Hey, she says yes! Okay, so she doesn't have her portrait set up, by the way, yet, which just makes this look so deadpan, but she would be a bit more excited than this.
Yeah.
And I don't have the music of the game, like, loud enough, but you might have noticed that the music just changed as soon as she said yes. So there we go. Now we are dating Mayumi. Hell yeah. It's like Persona 5 all over again. So this is untested territory. Can we actually go out on a date with her now? I don't know if we can do it. Oh, we can. Hell yeah, the system works.
Live behind the scenes testing.
RainyGames development be like, right.
Seriously.
So we're gonna go to bed and then come back to this tomorrow. Or, I mean, hold on. I'll wait an hour and things are gonna look really nice and pretty because the lights come on. And then now I'm gonna invite her to a date. So let's go out for a date. So I want to also mention something else. Is that if you hit the requirements for an NPC confess, because there is a player requirement and there's an NPC requirement. The next time you go out with an NPC, they might end up confessing to you. We have some of them.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. Some of them might end up confessing to you. Some of them, don't have that much confidence like me.
Yeah.
So yeah, they might end up confessing to you. So yeah, that's a thing that might happen. Now, another very important thing. You guys have been asking about it. I'm going out with Mayumi now. I'm dating her. I can date other characters now too. I can date as many characters as I want. Go ahead and talk about it.
I want to talk about this. Okay, so
I'll set up a date.
The way the whole system works is a little complicated. People are always asking us, can you date multiple characters at the same time? My answer is always kind of. So every romance is split into 2 halves. There's what we call the lock-in point at the middle. So before you hit the lock-in point with any one character, you can date whoever you want. Go for it. It's not, yeah, you're just testing the waters. It's fine. Once you hit the lock-in point, let's say you're dating Mayumi, you get to the lock-in point for Mayumi, but you're also dating, I don't know, Blake and Kat, whatever. If you get to the lock-in point with Mayumi, and you're basically forced at that point to make a choice. You either lock it in, or you break up with her. There's no in between. And we give you some warnings that, hey, this is coming up, so that you're not like blindsided. So if you get to the lock-in point and you are dating Blake and Kat at the same time, and you lock it in with Mayumi, it's going to automatically break up with the other people that you're dating. And now Mayumi is the only person you can go on dates with. Or you can break up with Mayumi, and now you can continue testing the waters with everybody else. The lock-in point for every character is at a different point in their romance. For some, it's near the beginning. For some, it isn't until the very end. So you can actually date a bunch of people all at the same time, all the way up until the end of their romance. It just depends on their character, how they feel about dating, their backstory, all that stuff.
Yeah. So, Thank you for that, because we were actually leading.
You're welcome.
So, as Sydney said, at the end of every hangout or date, up to the lock-in point, you have the opportunity to break up, or at the lock-in point itself. But after that, all that goes away. So we have the opportunity to break up now. I mean, we just asked her out today. Gonna end it on the same day. It's speed dating, I suppose.
It's rough, buddy. It's rough.
We can't get into the lock-in point with Mayumi. That would take a long time, because just how dynamic it is. I don't know how many of Mayumi's stories I have to go through before I get to her lock-in point, and only Sydney and Laura know that. So we are going to break up with her, just so you guys can see the option, and you get an opportunity to cancel if you accidentally click on it. But we're going to continue, and yes, there is a breakup song, and yes, it has 2 different versions.
And everybody also has breakup dialogue.
You know, if you want to blame someone, blame Matt and Sydney, because I said it's too much emotionally, but yeah.
Nope, I'm gonna make you feel bad about it.
I wish I could turn the music up, because
I'm gonna make you guys feel bad about it.
And she doesn't have facial expressions, so she's just like okay with it.
This is fine.
Lemon is saying, what are you doing? Oh no. So what happens after you break up? Once you break up with a character, the main thing that happens is that all of your romance points will be reset to 0. You will also lose a tiny bit of friendship points, not that much. And
it depends on the NPC. So for some of them, you're gonna lose everything. Friendship wise, for some of them, they're not going to care as much. And you'll kind of know based on the dialogue how they feel about it. There will be some NPCs who will yell at you if you break up with them, because they're going to be mad. There are others who are just going to be like, all right, and just move on. So it totally just depends. I want to answer some questions real quick. Somebody said if you break up, are you still friends? Blah, blah. For Squirrel Messenger, is a favorites tab planned, just so you don't always have to scroll all the way down to find someone we frequently want to hang out with.
That's actually
a really good idea. We don't have anything like that planned, but that's a really good idea.
I don't think we need an extra tab for it, but we can add the option that you can favorite an NPC and they will always show up at the top of the list. Yeah.
Kind of like you can pin messages. I know my chat messenger has that. You can pin messages.
That's actually also a very good idea too.
There won't be group chats though.
No.
Specifically because we are kind of on a limited dialogue budget in terms of how much I'm allowed to write. And that would just add way too much to my word budget.
The group story events.
There are events. There are group story events, yeah. We had some ideas for... I'm just going to talk about it. We had an idea where we wanted to have weekly events that happened. So like every Friday night, a bunch of the girls got together and went and did something, and you'd be able to join them on that. Again, it was way too much dialogue. We ended up having to cut it, but we do want to add it back later. So maybe there will be stuff that has more of that the world is alive feeling, but it won't be in the base game.
And
Let's
there's
see.
actually one thing
Everybody's
that I wanted to
sad.
talk about too. So yeah, when you break up, that happens, and then yes, you can get back with that NPC if you want to. It's going to take you a longer time because you are not going to get those romance events that you have seen in the past.
Yep.
So it's just going to take you a longer time to get back to where you were with that NPC. It just happened naturally, and we were just really happy with it anyway. And when you lock in a romance with somebody, by the way, this is very important to mention as well. When you decide to make an NPC date serious, then it will automatically break you up with everybody else. Now, you don't actually get a penalty from that. You just lose all of your romance points with them. Everybody goes to 0, and they will continue to not generate any more romance points at all. So if you have somebody like a significant other and you have locked in your romance with them, no romance points from anybody else from that point forward.
Yeah. I said it in chat, but I'll just say it. Yeah, when I say dialogue budget, I mean it's localization. It costs money for every word that you have localized, and it's money for every language. So the more languages we want to localize in at the beginning, it means the shorter our dialogue has to be. So it's been a really weird balance between making sure there's enough dialogue for you guys that you're satisfied and making sure we can localize into enough languages. I think it's something crazy. It's like $30,000 or $40,000 per language. It's a lot. It's lot.
Man, everybody's been asking about localization. Yes, of course we're doing localization.
Yeah.
But we just can't tell you guys what languages. I mean, until our publisher does. The languages are also decided because obviously they are being localized. Yeah. But we just can't reveal the languages.
What I mean by limited dialogue budget is it's like how much we've planned on spending on localization. So it's something we've worked out with our publisher and what they're willing to spend and all that stuff. So that's why I say I'm kind of limited on how much we can write. I think the word count is already at like 150,000 words, which, to give you some perspective, I think Witcher is like 400,000 words. We were originally at 500,000. And I've been cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting to meet the budget. So, yeah. Honestly, at the same time, though, I'm actually really grateful for it. We didn't need 500,000 words in our game. There was way too much just extraneous dialogue. And something that Rainy and I talked about in our one of our podcasts actually is how limitation breeds creativity. And I can honestly say that I think being limited on how much we can write has actually made me a way better writer. And so I'm not upset about it. I don't want you guys to take it the wrong way. I'm not saying like, oh, publisher is evil and won't give us enough money. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have to be responsible. And in being responsible, it means that we just haven't gone as crazy. It's our first game. We have a million ideas, but we can't do all of them because that would just be ridiculous. So there's almost like dialogue in the game can hit feature creep really, really easily. So just as much as Rainy has to be careful with how much of his ideas he implements, I have to do the same thing. So that's, yeah. So please don't take me wrong. I'm not meaning it in that, like, you know, localization is expensive and not complaining. It's just, it is what it is. It's part of game development. And I think we still have probably way more dialogue than I think most first-time game developers use. So with the exception of, what's that game that's like all dialogue? It's like Disco Elysium.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even want to know what their localization budget was. That's just mind-blowing. But anyway, sorry, I got way off topic.
I'm trying to get my cursor back because for some reason I have broke it. Let's see if my OBS thingy works. Base. Ooh, it does. Yeah, I broke the game.
Oh, nice job.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Rainy's just like playing.
I was
playing with the game.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree, Zenny. Less is definitely more in writing.
I'm trying to gain control back. Hold on. Oh god, where did Sydney go? Sydney's back.
What?
Nah, you're fine.
Okay.
Then. Whoop. SunnySide.
Game's dead. Rainy broke it.
I
As
did
usual.
break it, yeah.
You okay over there?
I am okay.
I think we pretty much talked about everything that we wanted to talk about, right?
Um,
Lock-in points, confessions, invitations, initiations.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of. There we go. All right. I was just running some commands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's the deep talk about the social system. Now you guys know how the romance system works, the lock-in point, the breakup stuff, how you ask somebody out, how can somebody ask you out. Now next month we are coming back to the events, the seasonal events that can happen. And one of the seasonal events that can happen is Valentine's Day. So we're going to be looking into that and make some decisions, confirmations about how it's going to work. And yeah, I'm not sure if that's what we're going to talk about in the stream. Probably. We usually talk in the streams about what we work on that month, but it's kind of hard to tell because plans can change.
Yeah, we never know. But I do want to normally at near the ends of streams, we give you guys a couple minutes to ask questions. I want to leave it open a little bit longer today, Rainy, because the system's complicated. So we're gonna sit here and like chat for like 10 minutes, and let you guys ask questions. So if there's anything you want to know about social system or anything that we just talked about, anything you're not clear on, something you think we didn't really cover, please ask it in the chat. Please ask it on Discord, and we'll take some time to answer your questions because we really want you guys to feel good about this system. So, somebody asked in the Discord server. We talked about that actually at the beginning of the stream, so they might have come in late. Somebody asked again about temperature, being able to change the temperature units. Yeah, you'll be able to change all the measurement units for temperature, speed. Do we have any units for like distance or anything?
Yeah, we have the drone racing as well as your vehicles have a miles per hour or kilometers per hour.
Yeah, you can change it.
Thing you can change, yeah. Besides that, we have temperature as well.
Lord of Pomegranates, I made a whole speech about that at the beginning of the stream, so I'm not going to go through it again.
We don't.
But no.
Yeah.
I also appreciate Rainy's hairstyling choices.
I don't choose my hairstyle chooses me, honestly, on a daily basis. So like I wake up and I'm like, oh, okay, that's it for today then. And it's most of the time really bad, so you know, we got the good hair day. You
know what's funny is I do the same thing.
It was just don't care.
Yeah, it's don't hair care. Don't care hair.
But thank you, Pat. I appreciate it. You must cheat sheets, yeah. Well, you know what, Rachel?
Join the wiki team.
Well, yeah, you can do that, but also, just recently, there was some changes in Yuma's sexuality thingy.
Oh yeah, I gotta fix that. I realized that as I was writing his story, I accidentally changed his preferences, so I'm gonna have to go into the sheet and like actually change them.
Yes.
I messed with it a little bit.
But there are good changes. Yeah,
they're good changes.
Very welcomed.
Will we be able to generally see the differences between friendship points and romance points? That's a great question, Rainy. Can they see the difference between generating friendship points and romance points? Do you want to show them?
Oh. Alright. I don't have them ready, but yeah. There is that piece of art that you guys have seen under the character's portrait in the app. And yeah, they do change based on what the thing is. Hold on, let me pull it up. Graphic design.
don't do it greedy.
Where is it? Actually,
Rachel, I'm pretty sure you'll be okay with the changes that I'm making. It's not a big deal. That's really funny that you guys call it that.
actually, I'll continue explaining it, and then I'll see if I can find it. I'm looking for the images Carrie did, but I don't know where they are actually on the drive.
I think they're in the icons folder.
Icon. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Somebody asked in the Discord server, I know you guys said we won't be doing marriage or moving in, but will we ever be able to do sleepovers either at their place or ours? No. The reason for that is because one, the game takes place in Japan. And I am very careful about how much we're showing. So we're not even having kissing or anything like that. One, pain to animate. Two, sleepovers at somebody else's house is a pain in the butt to program. So that's really the main reason for it. But yeah, no. Yeah.
Hold on, I was trying something.
You will not be going into people's bedrooms and reading their diaries to see how they feel about you. That is creepy, and I would no, absolutely not. I don't know what game you do that in, but that is weird.
That is a lot of old Harvest Moon games, I think.
That's really creepy.
I remember anyway. So, you actually, some of the doors in the game are locked behind friendship points, so you need to hit certain friendship points, and then you will be able to access their room. As well as, but one area that you can like study to see what an NPC likes is that if you ever want to figure out an NPC's activity preferences, look at the reviews for a location and see if you can find them in those reviews. They might have said something really bad about it or something very good about it, and you can kind of figure out if they like it or not. And yeah, these are the friendship point icons that we have that can show up under the character's portraits in the app. And you know, they're level by level and they change and kind of end on this very big tree. And then for romance points, it's a separate kind of visual indicator. And,
are you showing something on screen?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
You're just probably behind.
I was really behind, yeah.
There are butterflies that show up on top of it.
Yeah.
Based on
I love the butterflies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your friendship is a tree, and then the romance is butterflies, because butterflies in your stomach. And because I didn't want to do hearts, because everybody's done that, it's dumb, and I hate it. So that's the honest truth. Somebody asked, will the amount of romance points and friendship points change the general conversations you can have? Not really. Only in a sense of progression, but we're not doing like dialogue wheels or anything like that, because too much. Especially for our first game, it's just too much writing. I'm already y'all, I am so burnt out on writing. You have no idea. 24 romance stories is a lot. And making sure that they're unique and interesting. And I have one more to write and then I'm done, and I'm going to celebrate. I'm so over it. Creatively, it's exhausting. So yeah. Oh, agree. Are some people more tech savvy than others? That's actually a great question. Yes. Absolutely. And Rainy, tell them how we showcase that.
Well, what, like other than story or
text messages?
Yeah. So yeah, that's true. Some people are more tech savvy than others, like Hiro or Kyle versus like Kazuki. And like Sako. So different characters have different speeds at which they type messages back to you, reply to your messages. So like you can see that little 3 dots, but that can run for a little while if they're very slow at typing. So
like Kazuki.
Kazuki has a very slow typing speed, but like Hiro's super fast.
So some of them you're gonna have to be a little more patient with.
Yeah. No reason, but it's just a fun little thing.
Immersion. Yeah, it's we wanted, especially with Kazuki, I really wanted you to feel like you were hanging out with an old man. So he talks a lot. He rambles a little bit. He definitely has way more lines than I think any other character. Him and Ryozo actually, I think, have like the highest word count. Because they just ramble. So yeah, I tried really hard to reflect their personalities through their dialogue, through the texting, through a lot of stuff. You can tell them about melody if you want.
It is the one finger poke method, absolutely.
Yeah.
We do have intentional spelling mistakes.
There are. Yeah, there are. Who are you guys talking about? Oh, you guys talking about Yuma? I think Yuma's is normal. He's not. He's old, but he's not like that old. Yeah. I think it's so funny how much people like him.
Yuma, yeah.
Women like older men.
That's
it is
true.
what it is. Let me rephrase that. People who are interested in men are often interested in older men. There we go. That's better.
Not even kissing is, yeah. Well,
we're not going to go into that. It's just a decision that we made.
Yeah. It's also
your future
a
grandfather.
little bit of a limitation that we have on tech.
Yeah, Yuma is I don't know, I'd call him tech savvy. He's just not incompetent.
He gets the latest phones. Maybe.
He gets all the maybe. I don't know about that. His roommate definitely does.
Oh yeah.
Can we see another shot with all the datables? It is currently pinned in our character chat channel. But I will send it to Rainy and he can pull it up on screen for you guys. If he so desires. Oh, my Discord's gonna crash.
Oh no.
Oh no, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's a grumpy one.
Cool. Alright.
Yuma is the greatest green man of all time.
Alright, here we go. The cast of SunnySide. That's actually the old cat art, isn't it?
It is the old cat art. Yeah, we need to do an updated one. I'll let Carrie know on Monday.
Oh yeah, you will also might notice we have their heights.
Yeah. They're fairly accurate. Some of them are a little bit off. Like, I think Lucy is slightly taller than that. Do we have date-specific poses for the photos? That's a great question.
What, like taking a photo while you're out on a date?
Like, yeah, if you do a selfie with somebody, can you guys pose together?
Oh, not at the moment, actually.
We'll give them more ideas.
If you put in filters on your face, it will also detect the character behind you and put on that too.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hanako is definitely a short queen. I think Hanako's one of the shortest characters, actually, if I remember right. She's got Kazuki's genes, after all.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. I think that's about it. Last minute questions. put those in there while I go over a couple things. If you don't put it in, it's not going to get answered. So, yeah. So what's next? So I'm going to just kind of keep saying this until we get the go-ahead to do it. Keep an eye and ear peeled for stuff about the MVP program, about testing. We do want to do it. We're still waiting for approval. So just please be patient with us. We're doing our best. And just make sure that you're checking your emails so that you don't miss it when it does happen. We will announce it on Twitter and Discord and probably YouTube and all that stuff. So make sure you're following us on everything. If you want to get announcements about things that we're doing, make sure you're following us and you're paying attention. It's a little weird for us when like there's something that we've announced and like everybody in the community kind of knows about, and somebody will pop in and like ask that question, who's like a Kickstarter backer, and we're like, why aren't you following everything? Follow the stuff. I can't answer every question.
Definitely, if you're a Kickstarter backer or a BackerKit backer, please let people know on Discord that you are a backer so you can get your role. And it doesn't even matter about like the color or the little badge you get next to your name. You lose access to channels that are specific to backers, and they get like sneak peeks that the public channels don't get. So you're missing out on content. Yeah. Don't do that to yourself. You paid for it.
The other thing is we're still releasing music videos. There was kind of a gap in releases there for a while because I screwed up. It was my fault. I didn't realize that the video was ready to go, so I just didn't put it up. So we released it yesterday. It was kind of a weird one. Patreon didn't get early access to it, so sorry guys. I really wanted it up before the stream, but we're gonna do the next one soon, and so Patreon's gonna get early access to that one for sure. So if you like the music videos, please like, comment, and subscribe to them.
And once we're done with seasonal stuff,
we need to know. Yeah, once we're done with the seasonal ones, we're gonna keep going until we release. So if you like them and you want to keep seeing them, let us know. Because if people aren't like responding to them, it'll make me really sad. So don't make me sad, please. I think that's mostly it. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk about, the big announcement, the exciting thing, the thing that everybody's been waiting for. If everybody probably forgot that I had an announcement for the end of the stream, but this is it. We're here. So t-shirts for RainyGames. They are just waiting for me to click the buttons. So I'm going to click the buttons today. So if you want to go order a RainyGames t-shirt, join the Discord, go look at Twitter. I'm going to announce it on YouTube too. We might send out an email blast, maybe, to backers and stuff. So yeah, if you want the link to that, I'm not going to drop the link now because I haven't hit the buttons, and I'm not going to. So, but yeah, so the shirt that you guys saw me wearing last month with our logo on it, you guys are going to be able to purchase that today. In like probably an hour, it'll take me to put it all together. So, like I said,
I wore it.
Yeah, mine's actually the washing machine too because I wore it. But yeah, so I'm excited about it. Like I said, I wanted to do stickers, but they were ugly, and I want the stickers to be good. So we're just gonna do t-shirts for now. It's just gonna be the RainyGames t-shirt. Buy as many of them as you want. We're going through a company called Spring. So for now, honestly, Spring is getting most of the money. But I'm working out something behind the scenes that Rainy doesn't even know about to try to make it so that I'm doing fulfillment for t-shirts.
Ah, yes.
And maybe they'll actually help us earn a little bit more income. Which I know sounds weird to talk about that, but that's what makes the studio keep running, is making sure we get like the money from the stuff that you guys buy from us. So we're going to go through Spring for a little while, and then I'm going to try to set something up. It's going to take a little while, but I'm excited about it. So yeah,
I'm going through the chat, and man, I missed so many chats. I'm so sorry. Somebody asked ages ago if we have mod support, and yes, we're working towards it. Sorry.
Strategically ignored that one.
No, don't do that. I love answering people. I love answering questions about mod support because I am a huge mod advocate. Used to make them myself back in the day, so you know I kind of am in that community.
What I will say is, yes, we will have mod support. The only thing I asked...
I just don't know how it works in Unreal Engine.
Yeah,
that's why I haven't answered to you guys. I don't know how to make it work yet. Yeah. It can be super simple,
but
honestly.
I'm going to make a request to the community for my own sanity.
It's not going to work.
I know, but I'm still going to ask. I'm still going to ask. My only request is to not speculate too much about what mods are going to happen until you've actually played the game. Because we've made so many changes to how systems work, and it's so different from other farm games that you've played, my only request is please play the game first before you say, oh, we're going to need to mod this and we're going to want to mod this. Because to us, it's actually a little demotivating. Of like, oh, I think you're going to do a crappy job in the romance system, so I'm just going to wait for the mods that fix everything. And it's just like, as a creator, for us, it's just really hard to deal with. So I respect mods. I totally want you guys to make the game more accessible for you and make it more fun and make it suit your playstyle. But please make sure you understand what the game actually is first. That's my only request. And that's why I get a little grumpy sometimes. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, but if you want to... Really sad. If you want to like replace character models and stuff like that, go for it. If you want to,
sure, whatever.
You just I'm personally I'm absolutely fine with it. And Evelyn, I don't understand your first question, but the second one, did I learn to code more with mods? It definitely helped. It definitely helped give me an understanding that like how big games like Skyrim work. Yeah, but I think I learned most just through the Unreal blueprint system. More than anything.
Sorry, I'm reading everything. Yeah, like I will say Skyrim totally needs mods. And like Stardew Valley, yeah, a lot of the mods do make it better. I think there's an open-endedness to those games that our game doesn't quite have. Same thing with Sims, which is really mod heavy.
Well, the build mode and like the farming and stuff.
Build mode, yeah, absolutely.
I think those can get modded to hell.
It's more like when people, like, before they've played, are like, oh, I'm just gonna mod out the whole sexuality system. It's like...
Oh, right, I see.
Try it first. Yeah. If you don't like it, that's fine. But it's the kind of... I was just gonna say, the metaphor that I made earlier is it's very similar to, like, when you go to a really, really nice restaurant, your food comes out, and the first thing you do before you taste it is you put salt on it.
Oh, right.
Like, that's how it feels. It's just like, I don't trust you. You suck. I'm better. It's like, all right.
Game-wise, I kind of see it similar to, like in Tears of the Kingdom, there are cheats that will double, triple, quadruple your items that you get. And that will completely ruin the balance of the item.
It will.
Kind of thing. Like, I did that with one of my saves that I have, and I have around 1,000 what is it called, bright bloom seeds, because the game just gives you so many of them. So it is going to feel like that. So if you like to get the authentic experience and like feel the pacing of the game, that would be the way to go. But if you want to mod it, go for it.
Yeah,
as well.
we're putting salt on the table. It's gonna be there. All I ask is that you taste the food first. That's it.
But also we have systems that are very moddable too. Like the build mode is one of them. Sure. I feel like
build mode for sure.
Funny enough, the vehicle system is built in a way that making a new vehicle is very easy. So if you want to make any vehicle, or if you want to unlock the fish bike, you can mod the game and get them working.
You and your spoilers. Okay, I want to make sure we didn't miss anything.
Yep. Yeah, we should
will the demo return sometime? The demo that we had up was just the character creator, and honestly, straight up with you guys, we pulled it because it just wasn't good enough. That's why I was the one who made that decision, and I said,
and we caused too much confusion, which is
it was too confusing.
A little bit weird to me, because it's definitely not a new idea. I was the one that came up with the idea, and I got the idea from Sims, which does the Create a Sim, the cast demo that they do every time they do a new title, as well as what was the other game that did it recently? That GTA-esque game.
Oh yeah, the game you didn't like.
Saints Row had a character creator demo as well that people tried, and I was kind of going on the same stuff, but it caused way too much confusion. Amongst people, and there were just some people were just straight up mad that you couldn't actually play the game, and it was just a character creator. So I was like, oh,
I actually got a lot of angry emails about that, so that's why we pulled it down. It was doing more harm than good, we felt like. So, are we going to put a demo up? We've been talking about it. I can't make any promises. But what I will say again is I do want to get the game in your guys' hands, at least like a tester version or something, literally as soon as possible. We're really just waiting for approval. And by waiting for approval, I mean our publisher needs to feel good about you guys having access to it. So if they feel like it's not polished enough, or it is too buggy, or it is too easy to crash or anything like that, they're not going to let us put it out. So it's not even like, oh, they're just being stingy. No, it's really for everybody's benefit. We don't want to give you a test version that doesn't work. So we're trying to make sure that the game is stable enough so that anybody can play it and try it out. We're not getting a million emails saying, hey, my computer specs aren't good enough or whatever. So we're working on it. It's just, all this stuff takes time. So all right, last question.
Anyway, yeah.
Last question. Somebody in the Discord asked, Uru asked, how are you doing?
Am I doing?
I guess, how are we doing?
I'm doing
and
okay.
There was a,
my foot
like
still hurts a lot. Not a lot. It's better. But it's still painful. So I've been adjusting my foot through the whole stream. So after this, I'm going to go and rest it on something and lay down for a little while.
You gonna tell them what happened to your foot?
Well, I got a thing. Whenever you say foot, people expect like the most gross shit. I just got pain in my joint. It has a really gross name. It's called gout, but it's just pain in joint.
It's kind of a gross name.
It's a really gross name. Like you expect something really bad, but like it's just joint pain. It's really bad joint pain in my toe and my knee. But
everybody gang up on Rainy and tell him to eat better. That's what we need to do.
You get gout
everybody
because
gang up on him.
Bad diet and don't drink enough water. But I got that sorted today. So
what was I doing all stream?
Yes, well, kind of. Yeah, I need to do that more. But I need to go like late.
Everybody pick on Rainy. Tell him to take care of himself and eat better. All right, I'm done embarrassing you.
All right. Well, my mom and poor Lauren has been like doing that their whole life, and it took me getting some medical condition that is common amongst people that are 65 years or above to finally decide to eat better. Because when I told my mom we got gout, she was like, "What? You're like 27. What do you mean?" It's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I know.
Greedy's gonna start a petition to roll you up in bubble wrap.
Oh God, that'd be way too warm for this weather.
All right, guys.
Yeah. So I was gonna close it. Hold on. I have something to say.
Oh, you got a thing. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for coming to this one. I was super excited. What?
Ken, he said next month Rainy gets scurvy.
Oh God, I don't even know what that is.
It's a lack of vitamin C.
Oh, definitely not that. I drink orange juice like there's no tomorrow.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Ken. Anyway. That was good. That made me happy. Thank you.
Scurvy sounds like a pirate disease or a pirate name.
It is pirate disease.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming to this one. As you all know, I was super excited for this one, so I hope that we did our job well enough so that you guys all have a pretty good idea of how the social system works. Please, if your friends that are fans of SunnySide or people who you know who are fans of SunnySide have questions or doubts about the social system, tell them about it and direct them to this video. Because this was the best we could have explained the social system. An aspect of the game that is just like super important to any other farming game, as well as the fact that it's so unique in our game. So it was just so important to tackle it, and I hope we did a good job so you all have a pretty good understanding of it. And at the end of it, I hope that when the game comes out and gets in your guys' hand, you all play it and it works the way we intended it to. So yeah. But yeah, thank you all for coming here, and we'll see you all in Discord. If you haven't joined there. Follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel. T-shirt. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/RainyGamesUK. Feel free to support us there if you'd like to. But thank you so much. We will see you all in the next episode. Bye. That thing. I don't know how to do it. There we go. Hi.
It's a Korean heart.
Korean heart.
Oh,
Ba-da-da-da-da.